Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
All right. Well, hey, welcome to Hey, Are You Listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, the present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel, and I'm here with my good friend Brandon, and we got connected over a mutual love of some particular artists, but have some pretty different tastes too. And so this is a fun opportunity for us to get to experience some new things from each other, while also inviting some friends along for the ride. Brandon, how's it going today?
I'm doing amazing, Joel. The weather outside, we officially hit the 60s today, so I was late to recording because I had to run back inside and change into some fall clothes. That's how excited I am. So
I totally feel that. I took my dog out this morning and stepped out into the wonderful 62 degrees that was happening outside. And I'm like, I'm a little chilly. I need to throw a hoodie on, but I didn't do it. But it's fine. Yeah, I'm really excited for that too. It's going to be fun. Well, today we are going to be covering a record that I think is one of my favorite records. We're going to be listening to the album Sixpence None the Richer by Sixpence None the Richer. And we'll get more into that in just a little bit. But I thought it might be fun for us as we kick things off today to do it with a little game based on Sixpence's catalog. But kind of before we get into all that, let's talk a little bit about our history with this band to kind of give our listeners an idea of where we are with it. So what's your history with Sixpence?
I think I'm that stereotypical person that could name two of their songs like a year ago. It wasn't until last year that they were coming to Charleston. And I really enjoyed their EP last year. And so through that and going to the concert, I started listening to some more of their stuff. But even going into this, like, I feel like I don't know if I could have named 3 songs off of this album. So I went into this with definitely just a blank, like, slate.
Yeah. Well, everybody knows one song off this album at least. But yeah, for me, I started listening to Sixpence back in high school, and it was their second record, This Beautiful Mess, that really captured me and caught me and brought me in. And then when this record came along, it was a pretty different feel for them, more actually akin to their first record, The Fatherless and the Widow, that came out a long time ago. But yeah, this record went places that none of their other records had ever gone. But I would just immediately love this band. I saw them play at Cornerstone. I don't remember what year, 2003 probably, when I was there, and they played the main stage. And I remember watching them play and thinking, like, this is why this band is so huge, because they deserve to be this huge. They were just incredible. And yeah, and then we get to see them kind of on their like current reunion thing. We both went to that show, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, so for me, they've been kind of like a part of my history, and I've tried to stay engaged in everything that they're doing. But so with that, today we're going to play a game called Deep Cut or Made Up. And so this is based on their catalog. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you 2 song titles, and you need to tell me if it's a deep, no, they're not all necessarily deep cuts, but if it's a deep cut or if it's made up. And so basically it's pick which one is the real Sixpence None the Richer song. And so we're going to start off pretty easy in round 1. And so I think you'll be able to figure this one out for sure. But round 1 is 2 songs. One is Kiss Me. And the second song is Lanterns in the Fog. Which one's the real Sixpence song?
Definitely gotta go with A.
Yes, you're right. Kiss Me from their self-titled Sixpence None the Richer record, which we're going to cover today. All right, round 2. It's going to get a little harder. First off is Love, Salvation, and the Fear of Death, or Shadows on the Water.
Oh, this is. I'm gonna go with the first one being real.
You're right.
Okay.
Yep. I love that song. Love, Salvation, and the Fear of Death. All right, round 3. Between Sundays or Loser Like Me.
I'm gonna think Loser Like Me.
You're right. Yep.
Between Sundays, it sounded like a song you'd hear like on the radio that would be very like cliche, like
Cliche Christian music.
yeah.
Yeah. Loser Like Me, I think it's just from their Best Of album that came out. It's kind of like a bonus track that got released on that. All right, round 4. Melody of You or Glorious Machine.
Melody of You?
Yeah, that's right. From the album after their self-titled album, Divine Discontent.
There's a lot of just shooting in the dark with it.
You heard that song live when we saw them live. They played that, yeah.
When I first heard that we were doing a game, that was my biggest fear, was that I was going to say, that doesn't sound real. And you're going to say, Brandon, you told me that was your favorite song from the show.
That's so funny. All right. Round number 5. My Dear Machine or The Last Poet's Song.
I feel like it's too obvious, so I'm gonna have to go with the machine one.
That's right. You're killing it. You're doing so good. My Dear Machine is from Lost in Translation, which was their 2012 record that came out kind of out of nowhere. All right. I think this one you might know. But round number 6. All right. Is it Heaven's Radio or Thread the Needle?
Oh, Thread the Needle.
Yeah, you knew that one because you like that EP.
I was hoping, I was like, man, just give me something from the past 2 years.
It's a great song. All right. Round 7. Lips of an Angel's Prayer or Bleeding.
Oh, man. I feel like this is one of those trick ones where you're going to say both of them are one. I feel like they like long titles, so I'm going to go with the like
Lips of an Angel's Prayer.
Lips of an Angel's Prayer.
Got that one wrong. Sorry. It was Bleeding. That's from This Beautiful Mess. All right. Silver Lining Daydream or Solomon the Mystic.
The first one.
Silver Lining Daydream?
Yeah.
To me, that sounds like it would be a stereotypical Sixpence song, but it's actually Solomon the Mystic.
Oh.
They put out an EP between This Beautiful Mess and the self-titled that was called Tickets for a Prayer Wheel, and that was from that. Yeah. All right. We're getting closer to the end here. Next round, Angel Tread or Midnight Carousel.
Both those sound like the Midnight Carousel sounds like it'd be such a cool song. I'm gonna go with that one.
Oh man, sorry. It's Angel Tread, which is from This Beautiful Mess. Yeah, there's a lot on here from my favorite Sixpence record. All right, and lastly, Field of Flowers or Whispers in the Cathedral.
Whispers in the Cathedral.
It's Field of Flowers. So you like the first half of it. You were killing it.
We should have stopped at like round 6. It would have been.
You were doing so well. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So Field of Flowers is from their first record, Fatherless and the Widow, which is a really interesting listen to go back to. So, All right. Well, let's talk for a second about what we have been listening to lately. So, Brandon, hey, are you listening to something new?
Yeah. I'm listening to Gable Price and Friends came out with a new single, A Human Point of View, last Friday, and I really really like it. It feels like a little bit different, but they're one of those. I was telling Mark, one of our friends, Mark, about like they're one of those bands that I think it's what's your style of music, and that's what you should jump into first. It's not a every album is just a this is their sound. Like it's very different from one to one. So listening to that, and then I've been listening more to I don't know how familiar you are with Radio U, like the radio station out of I think it's Ohio, but yeah, like my childhood, they like had like John Rube and House of Heroes and everyone on,
Yeah.
and so I've been listening to more of that, and they've got like 6 different channels you can listen to. So they have like more heavy metal, they've got like rap, but the 2 ones I've got pretty much on are they're like I guess like regular one, so it's a lot of like newer stuff, some old stuff, and then they have a throwback channel that's just all just like everything from like the 2000s, the 90s. So you'll have like Bleach on, and then you'll have like a Hawk Nelson song, then you have House of Heroes.
That's awesome. I'll have to
So
check that out.
yeah, I really like it because there's a lot of bands that either I listened to or that were really big in the I think that's how like I rediscovered like the Almost, because I didn't really listen to a ton of their stuff, but they were on there. And so yeah, it's really cool because like if I'm left to like my choices like listening, it becomes where I just get focused on having to choose the next song, and I become the DJ.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's nice just to throw on like Radio U to where like they can be the DJ, and so I don't have to use all this bandwidth to like create my own radio station.
That's awesome. I feel like I have a few playlists that are basically like radio stations because I have so many songs on them.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are songs that I love? Let's throw them all on here. So that I like that. That's really cool. Yeah, for me, I haven't mentioned this yet on the podcast, but I think the album that I've probably listened to more than anything else this year is an album called Jesus by John Guerra. And I've listened to his stuff a lot in the past, but for whatever reason, this album it has just really captured me. And it's very like simple and just really thoughtful. Most of the lyrics are just pulled from scripture, but put together into a bunch of songs about Jesus or about things that Jesus said. And I just love it. I think it's definitely one of the best records of the year. So far, probably my album of the year. And so I highly recommend that one to anybody, as well as any of John Guerra's work. I think his stuff's really fantastic. So I've been excited for that one. It's been really good. But all right, well, let's transition into talking about the album that we're here to talk about today. So today, hey, are you listening to Sixpence None the Richer by Sixpence None the Richer? And so I pulled together some facts about this album that I thought might be interesting just to kind of set up for us a little bit. So early on, Sixpence was on a label called Rex, which was a Christian label. And then they kind of found themselves homeless a little bit. But this album, they started working on, and it ended up getting picked up by Squint, which is Steve Taylor's label that was kind of rolling at the time. And so this is the 3rd studio album by Sixpence None the Richer. It came out on November 22nd, 1997. It was certified platinum by the RIAA on February 9th, 2000. For 1 million units sold in the United States. It was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Rock Gospel Album at the 41st Annual Grammy Awards. When this came out, it kind of, Sixpence fans bought it. But the funny thing was, it wasn't until 2 years later that this album blew up, which is a really rare thing, I feel like, in music. But it's because the song "Kiss Me" got released as a single because it was in a movie. And as soon as that happened, like it went nuts. And this album that was just like an album released on Squint, like blew up to be this huge thing. And they skyrocketed to like global fame. An interesting thing about Sixpence that as I was digging into this, did you know Sixpence on Spotify has over 11 million monthly listeners? And when you compare that to a band like DC Talk. How many monthly listeners do you think DC Talk would have?
Maybe 200,000 to 300,000.
Well, yeah, they've got about 266,000, but
I do say that because I saw the number right in front of me.
but like 11 million is wild. And even like a Brandon Lake today, he's got about 6 million.
Yeah.
Kind of the guy at the top of the charts, the top of his game. Toby Mac about 3 million. And the wild thing about this is, this band has this place that puts them in this category, mostly because of this one song. But then they were able to kind of carry that on with a few other things as well. So we'll dig into that more as we kind of get into this. But what were your any opening thoughts you have or anything with this album? Like, what was the first time you heard "Kiss Me"? Did that stand out to you at that point in time? I don't know.
I feel like it's one of those bands that were playing on the radio as a kid, but I never was like, oh man, Sixpence is like my band. And then I think I started listening to them more because of Steve Taylor, because I didn't know who he was until he came back and made his Steve Taylor and the Perfect Foil release.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of just this like weird, like, 2013 I discover Steve Taylor, and then I go, wait, he's behind this really big song? Like, let me give this a listen again.
Yeah.
And like I fell in love with the song, and it was actually the first dance at me and Jordan's wedding.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so like I fell in love with the song, but like I never went further than that song. Like I never dove in, and it might have been I tried to give it a listen to 10 years ago, but I was like, this isn't my style. I'm gonna stick to I'm gonna stick to the chicken tenders. I'm not gonna look at the rest of the menu. I'm gonna do my like normal. And so yeah, honestly, I see as this listen I did with this album, this was probably the first time I'd ever really sat down and like I listened to it, but I definitely paid attention to what was happening.
Yeah. It was hard to miss like that moment in music history because it really was kind of such a big deal. And like I said, I thought it was so cool. Like the funny thing is, like Steve Taylor kind of rescued this album from like just completely disappearing. Sixpence was on the edge of like breaking up and maybe not going to continue making music. And he knew them, and he heard what they were working on, and was like, "No, we need to get this out there. There's something significant that's happening here." And so, yeah, I kind of immediately was in on this, even though it was a pretty significant departure from the album that came before, This Beautiful Mess. All right, well, let's kind of get into it and start working our way through this. And so, like we always do, we would encourage you, if you want to, we can't play this for you, but while we're talking about this kind of track by track, you're welcome to pull it up and kind of listen to it in the background as we kind of shift through the songs that are happening in this. But let's start off with track number 1, We Have Forgotten. What were your thoughts on this one?
I thought it was just an okay song. I didn't really like it as an opener. So when it started playing, I thought, oh man, I'm gonna make people really upset with this review. Like I didn't really like care for it. And so but given our track record, you're probably gonna say, Brandon, this is my favorite song of the whole album.
No, I actually agree with you that this this I think was one of the poorest choices of the album, especially in the opening slot. I feel like you need a song that's really gonna like pull people in.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like this did it for me. It is a letdown. I mean, I say that it's still like a good song, but it's not an opening song.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a placement. Because I think, did they not perform this when they were here?
I can't remember honestly.
Because I remember thinking, man, I feel like if this would have been track like 6 or 7,
Yeah.
it would have. And I know that's like nitpicking, but it's like we've said before. I feel like I look at an album as a concert. Like,
Yeah.
draw me in. Let's go like have our like ups and downs, you know. But yeah, I think it suffered because you are expecting something to like get you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I agree with you completely on that. I don't think that was a problem with them on past records, but for whatever reason, yeah, I think it's just in the wrong spot here. So, not my favorite opener, but that's okay. All right, track 2 though is kind of where we should have started the album here.
That's what I wrote into. I was like, this should have been like the opener.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I felt like it would have been a lot better. Kind of this like, okay, like we're waiting. The CD like it gets you into the album. So yeah, I really liked it. I think it would have been a better opener.
Yeah, opening up the album with the line, "This is my 45th depressing tune," would have been so good. Yeah, I love this song. Anything. I love how like the guitars are so slight in the beginning, and then there's just this slow build to them as she's singing. Also, one of my favorite lyrics, some of my favorite lyrics on the record. Kind of the birth of a song. There's a lot on this album about the music industry.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, but I love the idea of like giving birth to a song here, and I just think that the chorus melody is incredible. The whole song is like a slow build. That just gets to a really good high point, and it's also the first time where on this record where you get like that Sixpence like lead guitar line, kind of the jangly 90s guitar, which I'm just such a sucker for. So yeah, I love that song. It's so good.
The next one we have is The Waiting Room. For me, I liked it. I was trying to think of how to describe this, but it felt like I was watching a movie. Like, it felt like one of those songs that you throw into like a, not exactly sure what the scene is, but I felt like it was something you find on like a movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked it that it's just this like almost like a background type of like talk, and I think Sixpence just does that well.
Yeah.
Is like just the simple things. Like they can have the simplest lyrics and it draws you in. It's like they're a band that, and I mean it's kind of a spoiler for how I feel about this. But even just the EP they released, I was like, after I heard that, I was like, yeah, they're a band that when they're doing like a pre-order or whatever, you can just purchase it because it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the vibe I got from this song, was that I felt like it was like, for me it was kind of like this regular song, but they make it feel important.
Right. One of the things that this song does that's cool is, I don't know if you noticed as you were listening to it, but the end of track 2, Anything, instrumentally introduces the song The Waiting Room. And so they're like playing on guitar like the vocal line for Waiting Room at the end of Anything, and the songs just kind of like go together. And they do that often through this whole record where there's like movements almost. It's more than just like let's put songs in place, but it's kind of like one big song in a cool way. And so I love how that happens. And there's perfect flow between. It's not like one of the standout songs for me on the album, but yeah, I think it's really good. All right, so the heavy hitter, at least in most people's view, "Kiss Me," track 4. Let me just tell you a few things that I've found about this song really quick to kind of put it in a context. And so this song is in what's called the Billions Club on Spotify, meaning that it's been streamed over 1 billion times. You know, the crazy thing about that, though, is that 33% of those over 1 billion streams happened last year in 2024. When I read that, that kind of blew my mind. Like, how does this song have such like staying
Yeah.
power to where it's like more popular now than like it ever has been?
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. And so in 2024, it got certified triple platinum, following its double platinum certification in 2023. It's been in tons of films and shows and kind of all over the place. But this song has just become this big staple kind of in music and pop music. And for me, I think that there's a reason why this song is like such a heavy hitter. I've probably heard this song thousands of times in my
Yeah.
life. Like I couldn't even begin to count how many times I heard it. And maybe because of that, I skip over it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I've never disliked it.
Yeah.
When I hear it, it's always something that I can still enjoy. It's a song my kids love.
Yeah.
That they're super into. I can't deny it's pretty much a perfect pop song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, like, so whenever me and Jordan planning our wedding, just to give context, she asked me to make the like playlist for the reception afterwards. And after like 2 weeks, I brought it to her and I had 20 songs on there. And she was like, Brandon, people are going to be here for hours. Why is there? And I was like, well, I like this song, but in that song, the like people, they've been dating for like 6 years and like one of them's going off to like war. And I'm like, that's not us. She's like, Brandon, just put it on the playlist. So like when we were like doing our wedding, we were like, I was so picky about music. And the first dance was one that I'm like, man, this is probably going to be the pickiest out of them. And this song stood out because it's so simple, but that's what makes it so good, is that it's just this simple, like, oh, hey, we're going to go out and do this. Like, we're just like a kiss is so special.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like you said, it's nothing. I don't know if there's anything about it that's like, oh, that's the best like that a song's ever done.
Yeah.
And it's just everything about it's just so good. And I think you giving the story behind the album, I think it shines so much on this album that it wasn't some record label stepping in saying we have to like make this like money.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like a record label would go, okay, from now on it all has to be Kiss Me. Like that's what it all has to be. And I think that's what makes it so good is that it's like it was this like organic. So it wasn't this Steve Taylor spending 10 million on a
Right.
marketing campaign. So yeah, I think it's weird how something so simple can be so special when you do it right.
Yeah, and the fact that it took 2 years for like the world to hear it, but then like just soak it in. Yeah, I think the guitars I think are so good. The lead line's awesome. It's just like there's nothing about this song that doesn't work. But I think what you're saying is so true, and part of that's because it's just so simple.
Yeah.
But in everything that it does, like it hits really well. So yeah. For all the Sixpence Kiss Me haters, we are not among you. But no, I think it's a great song. Yeah.
Our next one is Easy to Ignore. I think this one, it's good because when you, I feel like when you are following what is arguably like, or I don't think it's arguably, I think it is like their most popular. A lot of people think this is their best song. I think it holds up well. At this point, I also started to think Sixpence is just like the female version of Jars of Clay because there's so much about this that I'm like, I could picture this being jars of clay. Like that's a future game. Like, is this a Jars of Clay or is it a Sixpence like song or lyrics or
Take
whatever?
the vocals out. And,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I love the. I just think the line, the track title is so good coming out of Kiss Me, easy to ignore, because after that song,
Yeah.
like it's kind of like, but it's a song that fits the record really well. But I think you need a song like this after Kiss Me. Yeah, I think that's good. So track 6 is really interesting. Puedo Escobar. Escribir. I'm saying that wrong, and I need to get back on my Duolingo. Puedo escribir. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think it's always a huge risk when you do something like this because I'm a big lyric person, and I feel like I didn't have time to go through and translate and like dive into them. But I think it works well. I think is that like as someone who knows more about like Sixpence, is there a reason why like she's like gone into, because I know that's been a couple like we years ago I reviewed a Christmas album with a friend, and one of the songs on there I'm pretty sure was all in Spanish. I was about to name like what I thought it was, but I was like, that's not the name of the song at all. But yeah, is that something that has happened a lot, or or do you know if was it ever explained why she's like, oh, I just love the way the language works? Or
Yeah, I don't know a lot of that. I do know this song is based on a poem by a poet named Pablo Neruda. And so I think maybe they were really big into Spanish poetry.
Yeah.
I don't know the reason for it, but like you said, it's not the only time they've done it, although they haven't done it a ton. I'm also guessing that Sixpence is probably huge in Spain. You know, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But and so maybe this is just like a love letter to like their fans there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it is really interesting. I kind of musically, it's pretty fascinating, especially towards the end. It kind of feels like the high point of the album, like musically at the end when you've got the strings. It's very orchestral and big drums. Dun, 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 dun. Like there's just a lot going on. It feels really big. It also sits like right at the middle of the record, and so I kind of feel like it's just serving as like this kind of high musical point that's like really intense towards the end. And I think her vocals are great. Like
Yeah.
she captures the passion of it well, even if we don't know exactly what she's saying.
Our next one is I Can't Catch You. I love this song.
Yeah.
I think I was like, I don't think there's gonna be another song that rivals Kiss Me. But I really love this song. I felt like I just found myself really getting like into it.
The guitars are so good on this song. They're perfect. Like I can't. If you asked me to pick a song that like is the epitome of like '90s guitar pop, I would probably pick this song.
Yeah.
Just because they're perfect. They play off each other in this beautiful way, kind of like back and forth. And it is kind of like this is like the other pop song on the record. But in a little like more kind of guitar rocking kind of way. And so, yeah, this one's always been one that I love a lot. So it's a great song. All right. Track 8, The Lines of My Earth. Thoughts?
I think it's another album highlight. Lyrically, I really enjoyed it. I think too, it made me start thinking, oh, I like that I'm towards the end of this album and there's still stuff that I'm like, oh, I like this. Because I think one thing that I've noticed about like music now is like for you, like it might be different because you might be like, oh, I can answer that right now. But like just on average, I feel like most albums I listen to now are 30, maybe 40 minutes. Like it's just each song is 3 minutes. Maybe you get that 1 4-minute song. But for this one, it clocked in at, I want to say a little over an hour. It was like 13 tracks. So I caught myself at one point being like, oh, okay, this album is going for a while. And so it was bad. It was just, I was like, oh, I didn't expect to dedicate this much time to it.
Right.
But yeah, I really loved it. And I loved that it kind of just spotlighted that even towards the end of it, it's not just front loading all of it. And I think it goes back to, you don't have this giant label stepping in and being like, oh, okay, let's do this, let's cut that. It's, we're for better or worse, like, maybe a label would have chose a better opening track, but for Sixpence, it was, no, we want to have this one here, and this is what we want to do.
Yeah, I really, really love this song. I think it's probably my favorite one on the record. I don't know what it is, but everything just works for me. The piano, it's like jazzy. I think, man, the vocal melody is just gorgeous, and works so well with her voice. I literally wrote down in my notes, how is this song so good? I remember probably about 5 years ago listening to this album for the first time in several years. And I got to this point and I was just like, man, I forgot about this song, and it's so, so, so good. It's another one about the music industry.
Yeah.
But they also do this beautiful music building into the last chorus. This is a perfect song for me. Everything just works really well. So I love it. That's awesome. All right. Track 9, Sister Mother.
I wrote down, it's a song. I felt like this one and the opener were the two tracks that I felt like if you took it off the album, it doesn't really change it at all. I will say later on, when I was looking through the lyrics and got a little more context, it made more sense. And I was like, okay, because more of it was me just kind of figuring out, okay, I don't know, sometimes there's just songs I listen to and I'm like, what are they trying to go for? This is one of them that I'm like, what is the message, or what is the story behind this? And so yeah, it kind of just made me keep thinking, what's going on?
Yeah. It's not one of my favorite songs on the record, but I think it fits the record really well. So I get why it's there.
Yeah.
For me, it's not until close to the end of the song where I'm like, okay, I'm in on this.
Yeah.
There's a part where at the very end, on the last chorus, a guitar comes in and her vocals jump the octave. And it's really interesting as to what they've built to be able to get there.
Yeah.
But that's probably the highlight of it for me. So
next track is I Won't Stay Long. How'd you feel about this one?
Yeah, so this was one where, as I was reading through this, I saw people talk about how this was a highlight of the record. And I was trying to remember, what is that song? I don't even remember how it goes.
Yeah.
But I like this one. It's a really simple song about seasonal depression. But it works. I think the vocals on it are so good.
Yeah.
Her vocals on this record, as much as I even love This Beautiful Mess and other Sixpence work, I think her vocals on this album are probably unmatched to anything that she's ever done. And so I think the song's a really good example of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's, it felt more like an interlude. But I think it was a highlight of the album too.
Yeah.
And because I think some of their songs, and it's kind of the same thoughts I have going back to comparing them to Jars of Clay, is that sometimes a song's really good, but I'll think, oh, do we have to have that 2-minute music interlude during the song, or after the singing? And so to me, this was just it's a trimmed down song, and it made me think too, as an opener, I feel like it would have been a really cool either this album or just a concert. I'm like, if I was at a concert and this starts playing, I'm like, all right, we're in for a show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love this song.
I love that. That's great. That's good. Yeah. It's a great tune. All right. Track number 11, Love.
I think I don't know if I have any notes on that one.
Uh-oh. Well, I'll kind of talk through my thoughts while you kind of remember where you are. But yeah, this one, I love the drums kind of kicking into it. This is another one of those moments where you get a transition from the last song kind of straight into this,
Yeah.
kind of a seamless thing. This song is really so. This song is the most akin to their previous record, This Beautiful Mess. Just kind of the crazy out there, super delayed guitars. That bass line, like, it's cool. It sets like a really neat groove. And then I, for me, I kind of feel like that this song's like the answer to the whole record because
Yeah.
a lot of the records about frustration with the music industry or depression, anxiety, a lot of these different things, and then you get to this point in the album, and basically it all turns into this answer of I need love. It is patience. It is kindness. I need love. And it's like love is the answer to the question that they've been like posing
Yeah.
throughout the record, and so I kind of like that thematically. Moving out of this, yeah.
I, as someone who has no notes for the song, I will say yes. I agree with what was said.
I really feel like this is a song that you would love. I don't know if you missed it or what, but
I don't know. I will say one thing that I think happened was I went to ChatGPT and I was like, hey, I didn't want to type out everything. So I'm
Yeah.
like, give me the track listing. And when I started going through making my notes, some of the songs weren't on there. So I think it might have pulled from maybe like a re-release or something.
yeah.
So there were some tracks on here that I'm like, this isn't even on this album. And so then it made me start thinking, oh man, I hope we don't record and then realize that there is a, because for this, I don't know if you were Apple Music or if you were going off of like the vinyl, but I'm like, man, I really hope it's not one of those weird Spotify things where they, for legal reasons, they're taking
Yeah.
out 2 of the tracks or something.
There's a lot of different versions of this album. The original has 12 tracks. It doesn't have There She Goes at the end,
Yeah.
which then they kind of tagged on There She Goes when it became a single
Yeah.
onto the record and brought it up to 13. Yeah. But yeah, I think you would love this one. We'll have to give it a listen.
Our next song is Moving On. I really liked the build. I really, I think it made me think of when you're at a concert and they play that really cool song at the end, like to end the show. And then at the end, that's where they come back out for their encore, and it's like, there she goes. It made me think where it's like, man, this is really cool. Like, this is a really cool build. So yeah, I think it was a great. I know it's not the official like album like ender.
Yeah.
Or I guess from what you were saying, so
It was.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think that even like if you remove There She Goes, it still stands as like the album can end here, and I'm very
Yeah.
like content.
Yeah, it's a great song, no doubt. I love how the like guitars and strings are working together at the end.
Yeah.
Cool thing about this too is Matt Slocum, who's the chief songwriter, he pretty much wrote the lyrics for the whole record, or most of them, and guitarist for Sixpence. Also, he's the guy that played cello on the record. So it's kind of cool in that way. That to me, things like that bring it down to like they didn't just hire some orchestra to come in and write parts. Like he wrote all these parts and had these things working together with the guitar so well. And so I love that part. Love how all that works together. I think it's a great closer. But then we have the bonus that got
Yeah.
added on a little later. There She Goes, which is probably another one that we kind of most people know.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than the original of this song.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on There She Goes?
Yeah, I really liked it, and I think that it's always impressive when a band can like take a song and make a cover and make it their own. Where there's people that are like they know it more than the original, because I think that's really hard to do. But yeah, I think it was really cool. I do think it is interesting to think of like people who I could see it making people upset, because if you listen to it when this first came out, I could see them being annoyed, going, "All right, we end on this really epic note. Why are we having this like silly pop song?" But I think for me, it's like, yeah, I like it because I know them, like I know that they had sang it. So even when I looked at the track list originally, I was like, okay, I know at least there'll be 2 songs I like on this. So like this album won't be getting like a 0. We'll definitely be getting there's a 1 there. you know.
Yeah, so the original version of There She Goes was by a band called The Laws. And it's totally one-hit wonders, right? It's the only song of theirs that ever really went anywhere. Although I would recommend their record that this is on. It's really good. And it's also like it's so funny, like it's a 90s pop song, and Sixpence just covered it in the 90s and like took it to another like level. But I heard it the first time when I watched the movie So I Married an Axe Murderer. I don't know if you've ever seen that Mike Myers movie. It's hilarious. But in that movie, it's a comedy bit that they do, that you usually have different songs like transition you from one scene to another. But pretty much every musical transition in the whole movie is There She Goes by The Lost. And so it just becomes this like funny thing of like, oh, there's that song again. And so when I heard Sixpence cover it, I'm like, I love that song. But yeah, it's good. I agree with you. Moving On is a better closer, but I understand this is where record labels get involved. And then they're like, no, we got to put that song on the album somewhere.
Yeah.
So people will buy it. Yeah, it's good. All right, well, that covers all the tracks, at least in normal census. Today there are even more re-releases with even more songs on them.
Yeah.
But we'll just kind of leave it there. So what would you, kind of looking at the song overall, what was your overall thoughts on it, and maybe your overall rating?
I think overall, like I said, going into it, I was thinking, like, I hope I like this album. But also I was really prepared to be like, hey, this isn't. I was very comfortable with saying I am the fan that only likes these 2 songs and nothing else they've done. But I found myself really loving this album. I think I think other than like Kiss Me, I think that like I Won't Stay Long is probably like my track
That's awesome.
of the album. I think as a whole, I'm gonna go with 4.5.
Wow,
for the album.
That's awesome. I love that. I was very nervous. I told you this going into this. I was very nervous about your thoughts on this record because it's one that I love so much. And so I kind of have to try and be fair to myself. The route that I've taken to kind of rate these albums is to actually rate every track 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
And then get the overall rating. And so, legally speaking, my rating of this album is 4.3333333333 ongoing. But I think in my heart it probably holds a 4.5. So it's cool to see that we're kind of on the same page. Yeah. This one never gets old for me. I don't, it's not an album I listen to every week, but every time I put it on, I love it, and I love most of it. And so I think I highly recommend it for people who just want something that's like easy to like listen to, but challenging at the same point in time. The whole record is not Kiss Me, if that's your your thoughts about what this band is.
Yeah.
It's a part of who they are, but it's not everything. There's so much more there.
Yeah.
So highly recommend that people check it out. All right, we are going to talk about the lyric of the week.
It's time for the lyric of the It's time.
All right, so the lyric of the week from the album Sixpence None the Richer by Sixpence None the Richer comes from what Brandon and I believe should have been the opening track to the album, the song Anything, and it's this. If we should pack our tents, shut down the show, yes, we should like to see a burning bush type sign, but anything would be fine. It just reminds me of that idea that sometimes we want like such clarity in life. And it's like we want God to speak to us in this like huge way that's like super
Yeah.
clear. I know where I'm going. Like that's the thing that we yearn for. But then in reality, we're just like anything would be fine. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
give me something, give me some direction. And so I love just the honesty that's there, and that's where the song title comes from. Anything, just
Yeah.
anything would be fine. Yeah. All right. Well, that brings us to an end for this. Just highlighting where people can listen to us. So we are on X or Twitter at Hey Are You Pod. We also have a Facebook page now. Hey Are You Listening? So you can find us there. And I think on X you can follow both of our individual Twitters as well. It'll never not be Twitter to me, I don't think. But yeah, we would love for you to engage more with us online. Come and check us out there. Let's have some conversations about music in all those places. And feel free, please, to subscribe to the podcast on any platform so that it'll show up in your feed. And we would love it if you would give us a rating or a review as well. We're just thankful that you're here along for the journey, a few episodes in, and hope that you stick with us. So we'll look forward to seeing you again next time.
Hey, are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're